Hooper here. I hope you're having a beautiful fall day. I hope that you guys have been hooping your little butts off. Today I want to hit you with sort of a combo of the week, but it's more of a transition move or a tutorial for a move that can get you from wall plane to your back wall plane or wheel plane. Lately I've been trying to get 360 with my flow rather just sticking on wall plane. I really want to start turning with my twins, which can be tough. So this move that I'm going to show you is definitely going to help you move a little bit more freely with your twin hoops. With that being said, prerequisites for this tutorial will be a barrel roll versus a linear isolation. It's not necessary to know this, but it will be helpful to know this so that you can mix my move with this linear isolation versus a barrel roll. So I just want to explain that when I am doing this, I have an inside grip with my linear isolation, and then I stick my thumb in, and I have an outside grip pushing my linear isolation the rest of the way. So inside, outside, or I'll show you this way. Inside grip, thumb in, outside grip, pushing the hoop. That is how I do it, and that way will help you mix my move with that move to have a beautiful transition move, okay? Or a little combo. So, anyways, if you are having a beautiful day and you want to learn something new, then with no further ado, let's jump right in. So to begin, I'd just like to say that this move, your hands stay together the whole time. So if you somehow end up with one hand at 6 o'clock and one hand here, you are doing it incorrectly. So this is very helpful for people who are just beginning to learn this move, because your hands are together the whole time, which helps you learn the trick better. So just remember, your hands will be close to each other the whole time. So if you do know the barrel roll versus the linear isolation, we will be doing the first part of that for this tutorial. So I am going to explain that, and I will post what time to move forward to if you already know how to do this, okay? So I'm going to explain this first part, all right? So we are going to start with our left hoop. Inside grip, our arm is stretched out across us, and this hoop is framing our face. I have a thumb pointing up, all right? With our right hand, we will have an inside grip, thumb pointing up as well, and we are just going to place it on its native side, like so. So our right hoop is on our native side, and our left hoop has a stretched out arm framing our face, and of course we're keeping our hands together the whole time. Now what our left framing hoop is going to do is half of a bottom of an isolation until our thumb is pointing down on the opposite side that it started. So it's going to be on its native side now. We are not going to do the top of the isolation where you do the hand roll, so that's fun, okay? Your thumb is pointing up. Our left hoop is going to do a bottom of an isolation until our thumb is pointing down. That is our left hoop. Our right hoop is a little more difficult. It is going to do a linear isolation, or the pushing part of a linear isolation, not the pulling part. So you want to imagine that there is a tabletop or a line or a flat surface, because we want this to be nice and clean, and we want to act as though this hoop is being pushed on here so that the illusion is really beautiful. So we are going to move our right hoop to framing our face. At 6 o'clock we will be here, okay? So we go from here to 6 o'clock, and now the hoop is framing us, and we want to go a little bit further until our thumb is pointing down. So we are going to push the hoop to our opposite side with our arm stretched out across. Now our thumb is pointing down like I mentioned, and we are on the opposite side. This is the linear isolation in 3 steps. So we start with our right hoop, inside grip on its native side. We push to 6 o'clock until the hoop is framing us, and then we push a little bit further until the hoop is on our opposite side, thumb pointing down, arm stretched out across from us. So when you begin to make this one fluid move, one nice clean push, because basically you're doing the bottom of an isolation with this hoop, but you are just pushing at the same time. Remember, we want it to be nice and clean, so imagine that there is a tabletop or a line there that we are trying to keep it on, okay? So this is the beginning of what our right hoop does. So now let's put both hoops together because this is the first half of the tutorial. So let's get in our starting positions. Our left hoop is framing us. Our right hoop is on its native side. Remember, the left hoop is going to do half of an isolation while our right hoop does the push of the linear isolation. Now, because we do not want our hoops to clank, the right hoop is going to do the linear isolation and go in front of our framing hoop. So the right hoop goes in front while our left hoop is in back, okay? And together it looks like this, okay? Now we are keeping our hands together the whole time, which is very helpful. So when we begin to push, we meet at 6 o'clock on both hoops, push a little bit further, and our hands are still together with our thumbs pointing down. But now we are in this locked position, which is very common for twins. This is the beginning of wraps and a lot of other beautiful moves. So now that we have the first part of this tutorial down, or this trick down, we're going to add a turn. We are going to step towards our left side and make a 90-degree turn with our body. So now we are on wheel plane. All right? It looks like this. When we get to 6 o'clock at both hoops, we're going to turn and complete the move. Okay? So now our hoops are on wall plane, but our body is on wheel plane. Now let's discuss what part 2 of this tutorial. So like I said, we are in this locked position with our hands. I want to take away my right hoop and discuss what my left hoop is doing. So what I'm going to do is a simple smear with this hoop. So if you notice, my hoop is touching my right arm, okay? I want to smear this hoop. So I'm just going to fold the hoop so that it goes from touching my right arm to my right back. Now, depending on the size, my hoop is going to touch my lower back. If you have minis, it might touch your shoulder blades or even up or down a little more, depending on the size of your hoop. Just make sure that it is making contact or touching your back the whole time. That ensures a clean smear. So it is going to touch my back the whole entire time. The bottom of my hoop is going to touch my back the whole time until we smear it on the opposite side. This is the ending position of my left hoop. So it starts here and it is going to smear around. Now if you notice, my elbow right now is pointing up. We want to keep the elbow pointing up until it is almost done, and now it is in a normal pointing down position. So we start with my thumb pointing down, we smear the hoop, my hand basically is staying up the whole time, it is just moving, okay, from a thumb pointing down to a thumb pointing up, okay, so my hand is not moving, it is just my hoop that is moving. Once it reaches its native left side, it is now in the same position but the opposite. And this is what our left hoop does. It's a simple smear. This is the ending position. So now let's discuss what our right hoop is doing, because we are in this locked position. I am going to take away my left hoop. What my right hoop is doing here is it has an inside grip with my thumb pointing down. All I want to do is a simple fold until my thumb is pointing up, okay? So if you notice, you can't go a certain way with your fold, so go the way that your hand allows until your thumb is pointing up, and that is it. That is what our right hand is doing. Boom, beginning position, thumb pointing up, ending position. Now let's put both hoops together. So we have part 1 down. When we do this together, we are in this locked position. We are going to smear and fold at the same time, but keeping our hands together the whole time. It looks like so. Okay? Part 1, part 2. So it looks really cool, not only that your hands are still together, but basically both hoops are flipping at the same time. The top right hand hoop, the top left hand is smearing and the right hand is doing a fold. So now that you know part 2, the folding part and the smearing part, let's add in a turn. So if you remember, we make a 90-degree turn here when we get to 6 o'clock. We are going to make one more 90-degree turn while we are doing the smear and the fold at the same time, which looks like this. Now we are facing back. At 6 o'clock, we're going to turn, finish our part 1, turn again while we do the smear and the fold. So we just made a 180-degree turn, and that is the whole entire move. Now from here, you can do the trick again. So I'm going to do a right hand is going to do the linear isolation. At 6 o'clock, I'm going to do another 90-degree turn, finish part 1. I'm in this locked position, and at the same time, I'm going to make a 90-degree turn and do the fold and smear at the same time. Now I am back to start. And that's it, guys. Putting this move together, doing it twice can help you, or doing it once can help you, depending on what you want to do. So let's say you just want to turn 90 degrees. Now you're here to do whatever you want, okay? Let's say you want to turn 180 degrees. We'll do the full move instead of just part 1. Now you are on your back wall plate to do whatever you want. Your back is facing the audience. Let's say you just want to turn another 90 degrees. You'll do part 1 a second time. And if you want to make a complete 360, you'll do the move twice. How cool is that? So this move I discovered, fell in love with, because it is helping me turn around whatever way I want to go, and it's definitely helping me do my 360 flow that I mentioned in the winter last year. So it's been a year, and this is just another move to help me turn, and I hope that it helps you guys as well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to learn anything, feel free to leave a comment below. Go check out Festival Treasures Etsy shop if you need a pair of new hoops. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day. Happy hooping. God bless you. Happy holidays. Mwah.